be catch your eye. Let's just take our time, just relax your mind. And take it easy, don't have to decide. You do, I do, I don't have to be mine. Just take it easy. Take it easy. Take it easy.
The press record. The purpose of our Soulful Women in Business calls is to just really help you elevate your mindset, your passion, your excitement, your inspiration, but also just a really beautiful space where you can come and connect with others in our community. And so, yeah, today's session is going to be all around the Have, Be, Do framework. And also, I just want to let you know, if you have a notebook and pen today, I just want you to put it down. I want you to not stress about having to write the notes down, because I actually am going to send them all to you, everything about the framework that I'm going through today. So if you're worried, like, if you're currently commuting or you're walking or you don't have access, if you head over to my Instagram and just comment or DM me the word clarity, I'll send you the notes on today's call. So the framework that I'm going to be walking you through is essentially, it's just a map to really help you create a crystal clear vision on a future that really expands you and beyond your wildest dreams and imagination. I think sometimes it's so nice to be able to just have an expander in your corner to sit with you while you kind of formulate what you want to create for yourself in your life, but also be there to just like take you to your edge and stretch you that little bit further. So I'm going to go through the framework today, and I'm going to go through each of the 12 life areas. It's not my job to tell you what you want in that life area, but what I will do is prompt you with some journal prompts and even just some ideas around, well, that's a beautiful dream, but what if it could be more? And what if it could be like this? And I know for me, like in my vision casting journey, I suppose, if you want to call it that, I've always needed, I don't know, maybe it's just my personality type, but I've always needed to like bounce off someone to be like, what would you want in that life area? Like, what does it look like for you when it's fulfilling? And it's not to like copy their goals. It's more to be like, oh, I didn't think about that. So I don't know if anyone else is like that. Pop a 1 in the chat if you definitely do best in this situation where you're in a community with other like-minded people and you're kind of bouncing off each other, because that's what I really want today to be for you. If that's something that's great for you. Now as well, you're not going to get through all of the life areas today. It's definitely a work in progress, but today we'll just kind of plant the seed of intention, and this is something you continue to grow on over time. So has anyone ever heard of the Have, Be, Do framework? Pop a 2 in the chat if you know what that framework is. You've maybe heard about it, you've maybe done it before, or pop a 3 in the chat if this is completely like, nope, I've never heard of it before. I'm so excited to learn more. Okay, cool. We have a nice little mix bag. That's great. Okay, so like I said, don't worry about writing this down. I'm going to send you my notes from today. And I just want you to sit in it. I just want you to listen. I just want you to have the enjoyment of not stressing to have to get all the notes down. I just want you to really marinate in what comes to you today. And then there'll be time to write notes and write all the areas out as your play work afterwards. So the 12 areas of life that we are going to be focusing on are: 1, the self, so self-worth, your health. 2 is your finances and wealth creation. 3 is communication, So this might be like self-expression or connection with others, or if you're a business owner, how you market and social media, your messaging online. So that's the third. The fourth is the home and the family. Number five is your creativity, playfulness, and pleasure. So, what brings you joy, what brings you to your zone of genius, what fulfills you and gives you purpose and meaning. The next is service. So, how you show up in the world and serve others. What's your contribution to society or the world? Um, there is no, I believe, there is no deeper, fulfilling thing than providing a service for others and helping others, right? So that's a life area. The next is love and partnership. So this might be like marriage, or it might be just romantic relationships. It might be platonic relationships. It's just all about like love and connection and partnership. The next is self transformation and healing. Then we've got learning and education. We have career and business. And then the 11th life area is friendships and relationships. And the last is mindset. So, of course, we're not going to have time to go through every single life area in depth. But what I do want to do is walk you through the 12 life areas today and get you just thinking about, well, what's my high priority thing in that life area? And I believe that when you maintain a really strong priority agenda, it's so much easier to focus on that thing without distractions. When you know what it is that you want to create in that area of life, you don't focus on low priority things that come up. You reject things that are like not getting you closer to that thing, or you're able to easily decline things around you that are trying to like they're vying for your attention. So I think one of the most powerful things that you can do in life is to master plan your life. I think when you don't, you're kind of doing life with a blindfold on. And I think as well, when you have a detailed agenda for your life, for your day, for your week, for your month, for your quarter, your year, your lifetime, you're more likely to be focused on the things that you're really wanting to create, and you're not going to be distracted. So there's a law in business known as Parkinson's law, and that kind of suggests that whatever time you allocate to a thing, it'll take that time to fill it. So for example, if you've got to clean the house before 7 p.m. tonight because you have friends coming over for dinner, it'll take you all day to clean the house, right? But if you have unexpected guests popping up in half an hour, guess what? The house gets cleaned in 30 minutes, right? So this law, Parkinson's law, also is so powerful for you to complete the tasks in your life, for your business, for your family, for your dreams and desires, when you master plan. And so rather than you dragging out the goals and desires and dreams that you have for your life, or procrastinating or waiting till the last minute, or, I've done this where you put something on the vision board every single year because you haven't followed a structured framework that allows you to really get granular on what it is that you want to have. And then and and then you know exactly who you have to be to have that thing, and then the action you need to take or the things you need to do to have that thing, right? So it's really nice to whack a nice picture of a super yacht on a vision board, but if you don't meticulously plan that, master plan that, then it's just going to keep going on the vision board every single year, right? So yeah, Parkinson's law, it applies to your calendar, your agenda, your business, your life, your family goals, all those things. If you don't master plan, you kind of like fill up your day with these low priority tasks and distractions. So Yeah, that's what we're going to go through now. Each t- each area of life, what I would love to do is to go through a really basic three-step blueprint called Have, Be, Do. And I'm going to give you an example of the first life area, which is the self. So think about your self-worth and your health and you as a person. Okay. So pop in the chat, or you can, just think of this silently and privately if you like, but I also know there's a really beautiful power in sharing. What would you love? PS, if you can hear that snoring in the background, that's Hozzy, my French bulldog. So I do apologize. She is connected to me everywhere I go. So yeah, I hope that's like it's nice and peaceful for me. I hope it's peaceful for you. Okay, the self. Let's talk about the self. What would you love to have in this area of life? Your self-worth, your health. Let me give you a couple of examples of something that I put in this life area just a few years ago. So please do share in the chat. It really helps us to all expand our possibility when we see what others write. But for me, I really wanted to be able to purchase organic produce from the farmers markets every week. So I didn't have to, have produce that was genetically modified or had sprays and pesticides. That's really important to me. I wanted to be able to have the funds and the resources to prioritize my health, and to pay, healers and guides and physical coaches and whatever it required for me to be in my peak physical state. Also, I wanted to be able to have the resources and the finances to be able to hire a energetic coach if I needed, um, or to be able to, just put myself first, I suppose. It was about, like, I know that when I put myself first in the morning and I really commit to my well-being and my mindset, that allows me to then serve from my overflow in all my life areas as a mom, as a business owner, as a friend, as a sister, as a daughter. So when I know when I put myself first, I show up so much better. So in this life area, what does it look like for you? What would you like to have? What would you love to create? What would you love to bring more to in your life? Um, what would you love to invest time in? that that allows you to have a more expansive self-worth or health. So when you get to identify what you'd love to cultivate, and you consider how you can, have these things, you write those things down. So that's the have component. So we're going to do that with every single life area. The be component is all about focusing on who you have to be, you know, what are the desired qualities? What are the values, the mindset, the identity? How do you have to show up? What actions do you have to take for you to have that thing in your area of life of self-worth and health? So for example, going back to my example, I would need to prioritize my morning routine. I would need to have a conversation with my husband, which allows us to alternate mornings because we have a 2-year-old. So those of you who have 2-year-olds or have had 2-year-olds, you know exactly what it's like. You don't just wake up and get to have a cuppa and chill. It's like, as soon as the 2-year-old is up, your day is on. So we had to have a conversation about, well, okay, what if we alternate mornings? When Rui wakes up, how about we make a deal where we get 3 mornings each a week? We alternate. I have Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Matt has Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays. And up until 9 a.m., you can go and do whatever it is that you would love to do. For Matt, it's going for a surf or working out or going to the recovery center across the road and doing some cold hot therapy. For me, it's definitely either grounding and walking on the beach, it's reading, journaling, meditating. I'll go to my bathhouse, which has a sauna and a steam room, and that's how we were able to create our have be do in this life area for ourselves. So the be aspect is, who do you have to be? In that sense, I had to be bold to bring up the conversation and be like, what do you think about this? I had to be proactive. I had to be a problem solver, to think about, well, how are we going to get around this? Because, yeah, we have a 2-year-old and this can be quite difficult for us. I had to be empathetic for Matt because, yeah, I'm asking him if he can have Rui till 9 a.m. on 3 days a week, so that I could go and look after myself. But then I also had to be yeah, like giving, so that I could do that back for him. So the B component of the framework is all about, well, who do you have to be and who do you have to be now? So once you have all the haves of each life area, then it's about, okay, let's be intentional with this. What's my quality I have to have, my characteristics, my values, my mindset, my identity. And then the third frame piece of the framework is the do part. So this is all about exploring all the actions that you can take now before that desired um, life area comes to you. It's about really, achieving those desires that you want to have, and be, but doing what it is, like taking the action steps to do that now. So, for example, the do aspect of this was, yeah, taking a couple of hours out in the morning to do all those things for myself, and my health. It was being quite pragmatic with my budgeting so that I could put money aside to buy organic produce. It was being really intentional with my time on a Saturday morning when the farmers markets are on, and going, before it closes at 11 a.m. so I could go and get my organic produce, and not booking anything in that time slot, because that's really important for me. So does that make sense to you? Before we continue, does anyone have any questions about the have, be, do before we go on? I'm just going to head over to the chat and have a quick look. Um, Love it, Amanda. I'd love more time to meditate. What you've done with your hubby, I love that, making time for yourselves. Yeah. And this is what I mean. This is why I love these master classes, because sometimes we just are exposed to different realms of possibility by hearing what others do. So I really want to encourage you to share in the chat what comes up for you as we go through each life area, because you're not only helping yourself by proclaiming it, but you're potentially helping others on this masterclass to be like, yeah, I really love that idea. Okay, let's go into the second area of life. I'm just going to pop it in the chat so it's clear what it is that we're talking about right now. Finances and wealth creation. Thank you, Bella. What would you love to have in this area of life? I'm going to let you think about it. And while you think about it, I'm just going to rattle off a couple of things. In this life area, you may want to have financial independence, financial flexibility, finances, like abundant finances. You may want to have access to opportunities to invest so that you can then multiply your income. You may want to have opportunities where you get to learn about how to invest, if that's something that's kind of like foreign to you. Learning about that, where could, like, I'd love to find a way that I could learn about how to be better with my finances, a budgeting system. I'd love to learn about how to invest in property or dividends and stocks and shares. All that stuff is like mumbo jumbo to me. I want to be more financially literate. So these are just a couple of things that you may want to expand. Um, And I think sometimes, yes, it's great to put a number down and be quite specific. Maybe it's how much you'd love to save in a certain amount of time. It might be how much you'd love to earn by a certain time. But something I really want to point out, and this is where most people trip if they're not conscious of this part of the step, but understand that when you're putting a self-inflicted timeline on yourself, like that comes with duality. So yes, it's so nice to think about the big cash months, but also what comes with that. And it's really like sometimes we're so polarized on the goal that we set. It's all about plus, 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 plus. It's like, all the positive, that's all we think about. But we often don't consider, well, what's the opposite that comes with that? For example, um, with more money will come an opportunity for you to be a little bit more savvy. Like you're going to have to be savvy. You're going to have to learn how to disperse it and how to manage your funds so that you don't kind of waste it. And for some people, that's like, oh, that comes with money, right? So that's just a little example. So what I'm trying to say is, I think it's really important to set the goal, but also just know like sometimes that also comes with like with night comes day, with black comes white, with good comes evil. The perfection of duality is just kind of perfection for us to really experience life in all spectrums, right? From all angles. So coming back to the question, Louise has said here, a solid and well organized system with my partner where we are doing money things together, planning for our future. Love it. How cool is that? So, what's your have? Share it in the chat, and obviously, I want to invite you to expand on this after today's mastermind. What I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to go through all of the 12 life areas and just focus on the have. And then the be and the do is going to be your play work, okay? Communication, self-expression, and connection. Let's talk about the next area of life. How do you want to communicate? How do you want to express yourself? What type of connection would you love to create? Is it in your local community? Is it online? For me, like a really big goal of mine for years and years was I'd love to be a professional speaker. I'd love to speak on stage. I'd love to hold master classes and be really confident with the way that I deliver my message. Um, and that was really intentional for me. I did speaker courses. I studied people who I loved how they communicated. I did all the things right to really help me get to a point where I'm like, I could create a masterclass in a in a blink of an eye now because I have done that over the years. But that was a really big goal of mine. And self-expression, that might be something like I want to be able to express myself with my marketing and my message in my business, whether that's through blog posts or podcasts or social media posts or whatever that is, in a way that I'm just so confident and not thinking about like what people are going to think, or if I get a low engagement post, that's not going to move my center, because I'm just self-expressing, and self-expressing to me is my ultimate flex without worrying about the numbers and the who's following me and commenting and liking. It's about I'm just being authentically me. So that might be a goal for you in self-expression, or maybe there's other ways that you're not expressing yourself, that you're kind of holding back on and dimming your light on. And yeah, it's time for you to step into that. You need to do it, and you need to, for that next level version of yourself, there needs to be an elevated self-expression from you, but maybe you've been holding back. So maybe that's the have in this life area. Connection. I know a lot of people, like after COVID, just really missed that in-person touch, the in-person connections. And so maybe you've been dreaming about holding women's circles, or get-togethers for mums in your local area, or maybe like full moon gatherings or something like that. So what's the connection that you want to create in your life? For me, a recent one was, I don't know if this ever happens to you guys, but do you ever like follow someone online and they're so inspiring? Like you just love them, everything they say and post, and everything they're about. You just like, I just love following this person. Every time she produces something, I'm just like, I want to save it. So what I do, what I consciously do now is, instead of like just loving and commenting, sometimes I don't even comment. I'm one of those, I used to be one of those people who kind of just like creep online and watch everyone, but never said anyone else do that. So I made a conscious choice to connect with people who I'm really inspired by actually just letting them know, like sending them a message and being like, hey, I just want to let you know, like that post you did, or that podcast you did, or that masterclass, or that story, or whatever, like it just moved me or it inspired me, or like I just love you. Like I just want to let you know you're doing an amazing job. Just keep doing your thing. I never used to do that. I don't know why. I used to think it. I would always think it when I saw someone that I was inspired by, but I never went out of my way to let them know. So now one of my things in connection was, I really want to let people know when like they've done something for me, or they're inspiring me, or like to just, encourage them to keep going. And it's been such a nice change of being really intentional with that. I have created really beautiful connections with no ulterior motive, just to like elevate other people. It's been really nice. So that's an example. That's just an example. I don't want to put words in your mouth. But sometimes it is really nice to just think of, what do other people do in this area? Okay, let's talk about the fourth area of life, the home and the family. Um, this is a big one for me. I recently had to do a lot of shifting in this life area because there was a little bit of imbalance for me. So because I am like a manifesting generator through and through. I love the work that I do. I love to create. If an idea drops in, I implement it really fast. Like that's just the way that my design is. And and because of that, sometimes unconsciously, I was not prioritizing my family. Well, and not in a sense of like totally ignoring them. It was more um, yeah, I would like give Maddie a quick call and be like, hey, I'm just like on a roll with this thing. I'm creating this thing. And do you mind, like, I'll be downstairs from the office, in half an hour. Do you mind just hanging with Ruth? And in that moment, I was doing that because I was in an inspired state. But really, when I think about what I want to have in this area of life, I actually want to prioritize my family before work. Even when the idea drops in and the download happens and I'm in a flow, I actually like way prefer to just be downstairs being a mum. When I like with the season of life that I'm in, that's just where I'm at. And so, what is it for you? Like, you might not be a parent, so this may not resonate, but maybe for those who aren't parents, um, think about the home. Like, um, what do you want your home to be like? What do you want it to look like? What do you want it to feel like? I know for me, um, I I love aesthetically pleasing furniture, white, bright space, clean space. Clutter just absolutely does my head in. Um, and it's funny I say that because right behind my screen, I've just got a mess here that I really need to clean up. But like, that's exactly what I mean. Like, I'm sitting here and I'm like, I need to clean my desk because I know what I want to have in my home is cleanliness. I have a candle here burning because I love the smell of beautiful smells. Before I jumped on this call today, I burnt some Palo Santo just to get in state and have that energy. Like, so what is it for you in the home? Um, for family, even if you don't have, children, it may be like you want to have a deeper connection with siblings or parents or grandparents or your chosen family. For me, a goal that I set recently was I'm going to make the effort to talk to my grandma on the phone every single week. It's so easy to let life slip by. And my grandma is in her 70s and she lives by herself and she lives about 40 minutes away from me. So it's not like I see her all the time, especially like business and family, and like it gets busy, right? Like we see each other every few weeks, like at a dinner or something, but I want to connect with her. So that was a really conscious one for me, like give her a phone call, send her videos of Rui when he's doing something cute. She loves that so much, being a great grandma. So what is it for you? What would you love to have more of in the life area of the home and the family? Okay. The fifth life area is creativity, playfulness, and pleasure. Um, this is one of my favorite life areas. For me, again, being a manifesting generator, if you know your human design, please let me know in the chat. I always love knowing what everybody is. If you don't know, you can do like a free test online. It's a really cool kind of like personality, but a little bit more woo. Personality test, yeah, with a little bit of like spirituality thrown in there if that's your thing. But creativity and playfulness and pleasure is like my design. I need to feel satisfied and joyful and fulfilled, and there needs to be joy infused in my day every single day. Otherwise, I am what's called in my not self. And my not self is when I'm out of alignment. So for me, what this looks like is creating a love list, all the things in life that expand me, that energize me, that make my heart skip a beat, make me smile, make me just happy. I've got my love list and I am making sure that I am infusing this in every single day, in every single week, in every single month, in every single quarter, every single year, like every season of the year. Um, like, it might be, I love sitting by a fireplace and just like watching it and hearing it crackle. Like that is just such a beautiful pleasure of mine, but I can't do that in the middle of summer, right? So that is like a winter thing. Um, I've got I've got our Christmas tree out on the lawn still. Like, what are we in? Nearly May. I've got my 5-month-old dried up Christmas tree out there waiting for a cold May evening so I can burn it because that is like literally like I do this every year. I wait to burn the Christmas tree. So, what is your pleasure? What is your fun and playfulness and creativity? And especially for business owners, I think this is so key because if you are not infusing this in your day and you're just like sitting down and you're doing the do without infusing this into your calendar, it's so easy for the days to slip by and you're doing these long days sitting down or on your phone or in the emails or whatever, and there's been no fun in there. So again, for me, like working from home, I have these little pockets of white space in my calendar where I've got my love list and I'm like, what am I going to do? I don't know. Am I going to get a facial? Am I going to go get my nails done, my hair done? Am I just going to go sit out in the sun, read a book, sunbake, go for an ocean swim, just ground my feet in the sand? Like, what is it? What can you do? Um, and I think it's really important to prioritize this. So, what would you like to have more of in your creativity, playfulness, and pleasure in your life? Write that love list down. It is so, so powerful. Okay, next life area. Let's talk about service to others. Um, I think this is a really important life area because I think, regardless of if you're a business owner or not, it might be service to, a non-for-profit. It might be service to your neighbor, your elderly neighbor. It might be service to your team if you have a team or your customers, or you know what, even if you're not there yet, if you're in just like the beginning stages of business and you're like, I want to be of service to others, how what do you want to have here? How does that look for you? Maybe it's just adding value on social media, it's sharing your story, it's sharing your experiences, your wisdom, what you've learned. Maybe you've done like a really beautiful like masterclass like this today, and you're like, I want to be of service to others and write a blog on what I learned today and share that with others. Or maybe I want to recreate this as a training for a local community in my local area and do this in person with people. Like how do you want to be of service to others? And there is no greater fulfillment than doing this. And so how does that look for you? How do you want to help people? How does that look? I think when, yeah, you master plan this and you're very intentional with this, you just naturally and organically attract so much magic into your life because, the law of reciprocity, one of my favorite universal laws and principles, what you put in, you get back. Um, it's just like a law of nature. It's like physics. It's like, if I was to if I was to throw this up in the air, it's going to fall back down because of the law of gravity. So the law of reciprocity is a real thing. What you put out gets reciprocated back. So how do you want to be of service, especially in business? How does that look for you? What do you want to have more of in this space? And I want to be really truthful with you. I struggled with this in the beginning stages of my business because I was in that phase of, well, I'm not winning yet. So like I'm not even earning that much money yet. So it's really hard for me to like give to charity or give time to other things when I'm like feeling depleted and feeling like I'm working so much to get this thing off the ground. And so if you're feeling like that, just know that's totally normal. But you can serve people in other ways that doesn't overwhelm or burn out, or yeah, you want to feel good about it. You want to feel like your heart's expanding and like your energy expands when you do this thing or have this thing in your life. Yeah, it might be something really small. Does anyone have any ideas? Like what's come up for you? I want to hear from you in the chat. What's come up for you in the service to others life area? How do you want to help people? Um, what's your mission with how you want to serve others? Let me know. Is it in health and wellness? Is it in other ways? I can see Ashley is typing. Bella looks like she's typing, so I can't wait to hear from you guys. Yeah, is it totally outside of business? Is like your idea of service to others like not working, donating your time to the local homeless shelter and doing what it is that you have to do there? Is it going like through your pantry and looking at items in there that, they're not going to be used? You have this really bad habit of getting these things at the shops and then they sit there. Like, is there something you can donate? Is there clothes in your wardrobe that you haven't worn in ages that you're like, oh, I should sell that. It's kind of worth like, I could sell that for $30. What if you just donated it instead? Like, I don't know. I'm just trying to give you guys ideas. But Louise has said hosting more yoga retreats, trainings like I did this weekend. Amazing. Pia, I want to help mamas feel good mentally and physically. Ashley, creating inspirational content, doing more live videos, hosting trainings. I love it. That's definitely your zone of genius. Ash, Bella has said using the confidence I have, helping other mums be the best version of themselves. Nicole has said hosting more snowboard meetup groups. Yes, I would so come to something like that, but I live on the Gold Coast and there's no snow here at all. But yes, that would be so good. Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Okay, I love that. Love and partnerships. Let's talk about this life area. And what do we want to have more of here? Love, it might be romantic relationships, it might be marriage. You might be single right now, so maybe it's, a type of partner you are wanting to call in. I want to share a story with you about how I attracted my husband into my life doing this. Oh my gosh. So it was oh, how long ago now? Gosh, I should really know this. I think it was 2012, 2013. So over 10 years ago. Yeah, Maddie and I have been together 10 years. So it was definitely more than 10 years ago. I had just come out of a really horrible breakup, and I was just broken. And I remember I had moved away from home and just wanted to like start life from scratch pretty much after the breakup from hell with this guy who just, yeah, like broke me into tiny little pieces. And I was a broken woman and my heart was in a million pieces. And I remember when I moved away, there was a gym down the road from me, and I wasn't prioritizing my health in this breakup at all. And so I decided I am going to join the gym. And I met some amazing people, in particular, my trainer who I started training with, and um, yeah, he's hilarious, Dean. Still friends with him today. Um, so Dean invited me to this like personal development seminar they were having in the gym, and I was like, oh yeah, sounds good. And he actually sat with me to do this activity where we were kind of doing something very similar to this, like what do we want to have in all of our areas of life. When it came to our dream partner, I wrote down 5 characteristics. So we were guided to write 5 things down about the dream partner we wanted to have in our lives. And I remember saying he needs to be funny, he needs to have nice teeth. I don't know why I wrote that, but Matt has really nice teeth. He needs to be well, he not needs to. I was more like, yeah, I want him to be like tan and sexy. I want him to be attracted to him, you know. I want him to be like successful, like driven and successful at what he does. So that, you know, he's my like confidant and my co-creator. And someone who is loving. And so I wrote those down in a journal, and I didn't think anything of them. And then yeah, funnily enough, Matt and I had been friends for like 4 years before that, and I had no idea I had actually written down the characteristics of one of my closest friends without knowing. But I remember actually, when we started dating, I found that booklet. I was moving house. I was moving in with Matt. And I remember finding that booklet and I was like, oh my gosh, I totally manifested this guy into my life. So just want to share that story to show you the power of this activity when you're intentional with master planning. It works, guys. It's really, really beautiful. It's a really beautiful activity. Oh my gosh, you used to work with Dean, Amanda. No way, Brizzy. I wonder if I don't. Oh, of course you do. Yes, you do know Dean. Okay, so let's move on to the next life areas. Self-transformation and healing. This might be yeah, elevating into your next level self, mindset growth. Healing might be physically, it might be emotionally, spiritually. I don't know what that looks like or what comes for you when you hear that life area, but what would you love to have more of in this life area? For me, when I gave birth to Rui, I all of a sudden had this horrendous lower back pain. And Rui's turning 2 on Sunday. So 6 months ago, was it 6 months ago? I'm going to say about 5 months ago, after 18 months of debilitating pain in my pelvis, I went and sought out a professional. But the reason why is because, pardon me, I did this activity. Again, I do this every quarter. I get really intentional with this. I master plan every quarter. Um, yeah, and I got to a point where I had my enough is enough moment, and my pain in my back was just so much that I decided I will invest whatever it takes to get rid of this pain. And this is the craziest thing, right? So my personal trainer at the time was going on maternity leave. This is just again the power of this activity. So I had written down, I want to be able to find the guy who's going to fix this for me. Um, I was training with my trainer one day, and yeah, she was wrapping things up. She was about to have her baby. And I was like, I don't know, like I'm going to miss you so much. I don't know who I'm going to train with. And she was like, oh, you should check out this gym that's opening like down the road from you. I know the guy who's opening it. And he had worked with like professional surfers and like high level elite athletes, like Mick Fanning, and just like he had this amazing repertoire of just experience. And I was like, oh cool, like yeah, I'm going to check out this is like it's all about human performance and spinal alignment and pain management. That was like, oh, pain management, I'm going to check it out. Went to the gym, loved it, signed up before it even opened. And then yeah, I sought out one-on-one coaching with Taylor, because I had made the intention, like, I will pay. I literally said I will pay whatever it takes. I was just at that point in my life where I was in that much pain, and of course I attracted this opportunity into my life. So when you get intentional with this, it's not about like, so with the be section and the do section, yes, you can write a plan, but also be open to the serendipitous events that will unfold for you for that thing to happen. Be open to opportunity. Because when Jackie, my old trainer, said, this gym, I, to be honest, I looked at the prices and I was like, oh my gosh, that's very expensive. Like, how can a gym charge that much? That was literally what I said. But of course, like, looking back at my intention, I said, I will pay whatever it takes. So what did this help me do? It helped me go back to my second life area, which was finances and wealth creation. And I became a little bit more strategic with my budgeting. I put the money aside. So can you see how all of this is all interlinked and so beautifully connected to help you live the life of your dreams, to help you live a life that's fulfilling and molds and gels together so beautifully? So yes, for you, self-transformation, healing, what is it for you? It might be a spiritual guide that you want to create connection with. It might be a spiritual teacher, like in the physical realm, that you would love to find or be recommended to. Yeah, what is it for you? We've got 4 life areas left to go. Okay. Learning and education. What would you love to have in this area of life? What would you love to learn more about? What would you love to be educated on? Or it might even be, what would you love to teach? Um, my superpower is energetics, mindset, astrology, all the realms of the elemental world. That's just what I love and where I thrive. And so for me, like, I love studying these things, but then I also love to teach what I learn. So when I really like get curious about what that looks like, it's, how can I do this in a better, bigger capacity? And at the beginning of the year, I was like, I'm launching a podcast. That's it. I'm doing it. I've thought about it for too long. I'm going to do it now. And so that's my space and my place now, where I get to elevate in the learning and education. Because when I produce a podcast episode, that I've learned that. And one of my highest values is growth. So mental growth, spiritual growth. I want to grow. So I'm constantly learning. I'm diving into books and I'm learning from other professionals. And then I love to then teach what I learn. So what does it look like for you? It might not be at that capacity. It might be something totally different. It might be you are in a space where you really want to learn about a particular topic. Maybe you want to learn a language. At the moment, I'm teaching Rui Spanish. One of my goals in this area was I would love Rui to be bilingual. Um, I speak Spanish fluently. My family, English is my second language, right? So my parents, my grandparents, they all speak Spanish. And so I want him to be able to use that language. So what I went and did was I went and sought out some Spanish books for toddlers. And I've got this little game where it's got a deck of cards, and you put the card inside the machine and it says the word in Spanish and he repeats it. So Rui is literally walking around the house screaming out Spanish words at the moment. And that, again, it's like that was part of my master planning. So what does it look like for you? Okay, we're nearly at the end. Career and business. This is a big one. What would you love to have more of in this area of life? Now, I want to touch on this subject because this is where, so I have seen a lot of people who trip in this area of life, and I have been there myself, where the other life areas get so neglected, and all you focus on is this life area because you're a high performer and you're a go-getter and you're an action taker and you're driven and you're inspired and you want to create the goals, right? And so sometimes this life area takes precedence above all the others, or it's prioritized before all the others. And what happens is we have this imbalance in our 12 life areas. If you think about a pie and it's divided in 12 pieces of pie, and they each represent a life area, yeah, they're all kind of like dismal and not really thriving, because this one area of life is just your sole focus. Pop a one in the chat if you've been there before. I've definitely been there. And so what happens is then we become so obsessed and infatuated with our business, because of course we want it to succeed. We want to be purposeful. We want to help others. We want to have success. We want to grow the paycheck. So it becomes our thing that we focus on, and then everything else kind of gets put to the wayside and on the back burner. And then what I see happen is this imbalance and lack of joy in business. Like all of a sudden, it's the business that becomes the problem. It's the business that's not fulfilling, the business that's not fun. It's the business that's causing the stress and the lack of health and the imbalance of the home and the family. And it's because you're putting so much time into your business without the creativity and the playfulness and the pleasure, that it's not fun anymore. You haven't been intentional with the service to others, so really you're kind of doing this business with a blindfold on, with no real intention, and then there's an imbalance there. Or maybe you prioritize your business over your relationship, because it's easier to stick your head, in the business than to focus on working on what it is that you need to work on in your marriage or in your partnership. This happens all the time. So what I would love for you to do with the have piece of your career and business life area is, and this was such a potent question for me that I got asked last year, because I was at a point where I thought, okay, something's not right with this picture. I'm not feeling like there's balance. And I remember asking someone who I'm so grateful for her, because just the way she asked the question was, how does life need to look like for business to be worth it for you? And that question totally floored me, because what I realized was I was trying to fit my life into my business and not my business into my life. I wasn't, all these life areas that I've chatted to you about today, I wasn't prioritizing them. I had a vision for each life area, but I didn't have a master plan. I didn't have a have, be, do for each life area. I had a vision board, I had a vision statement, I had clear goals, but I didn't. Do you understand the essence of what I'm trying to say here? I wasn't clear on how life had to look for this to be worth it for me. And so I had to do the work. I had to really get clear on all the life areas. And then I got to work on, well, how does business then need to look? And for me, some things that came up were, I need to prioritize my family. That's just the season of life that I'm in. For someone who's been in business for over 10 years and has never had children up until 2 years ago, like there's a huge transition for me. I always prioritized my business. It was always number one. My wealth creation, all of that was like, when you don't have kids, you kind of don't realize how good you have it when in regards to if you want to prioritize that. But then all of a sudden you have this tiny human baby who's so beautiful and takes up all your time, and yeah, you're stuck in the, well, how do I do it all then? How do I prioritize it all? And the answer to that is it must be master planned. Everything has to be master planned, because then life gets to be fulfilling and fun and meaningful, and business gets to be meaningful as well. And they get to live harmoniously with each other. The two last life areas are friendships and mindset. And I'm mindful of time, so I am going to whiz through these last two. But friendships, again, like when I was younger, when I was in my, mid-20s, because I did prioritize working and business and making money, because that was a really high value of mine, I chose to sacrifice going out and partying and all of that. And that might be what you want to have. That might be one of your haves. But then as I got older um and I started to realize, oh, connection is actually like, yeah, like as you change through the seasons of life, connection is actually something that I want more of now. You're allowed to oscillate. It's fluid. It doesn't have to be firm like your whole life. That's why I revisit this every quarter, because things change. So as I got older, as I became a mom, it was really important for me to do the play groups and connect with my friends with kids. And I love birthdays. I love celebrating birthdays. One of the things I love to do is send a message on a birthday now. Like, I'm very intentional with that. So, what does friendships and relationships look like to you? What do you want to have more? And maybe you want to call in some more high level, high vibrational people into your world. Maybe you want to network a little bit more, go to things that you wouldn't normally go to connect with people. Or maybe you're in a season of life where you just want to have a really close, small circle of people who are quality over quantity, sort of thing. So I'll let you explore that. And last but not least is mindset. What would you love to have more in the mindset space? More emotional intelligence, more of like a regulated nervous system? Would you love to learn more about how to, be resilient and overcome challenges? Like, what is it that you need to go to the gym on with your mindset? So those are the 12 life areas. The action steps for here, Annie's written shifting my limiting beliefs into empowering ones. Awesome. And it's just like by writing that, Annie, you get to now attract those opportunities and that education into your life. Like, you'll see serendipitously, it will pop up for you. You will see, it'll be like a sign from the universe saying to you, hey, here's this thing over here that's going to help you do this thing that you said. So the action steps from here is invest the time to meticulously plan each of these 12 life areas. Sometimes this takes me weeks. It's okay to sit with one life area for 3 hours. It's okay to do that. And then the next step is to just identify what you would love to create in each life area, and consider how it looks, how it feels, how it smells, how it tastes, all of the sensations. The next step after that is really determining the highest priority action step for you to achieve those goals in those life areas that you've written down. So going back to the beginning where I was saying, when you master plan and you have your high priority actions, you tend to avoid the low priority distractions. So this stops the procrastination when you're really super clear. The next step is to anticipate what are obstacles and things that might get in your way of achieving the have of the journey there. What could potentially get in your way? Don't forget, let's not be polarized on the positive of it. Let's think about how it's going to challenge us. Maybe that's a really powerful, potent step in the whole process. Then reflect on what you've worked on, and see how you can enhance it and stretch it a little bit more in the quarter to come. Do this every 3 months. It's so powerful. And again, like I said at the beginning, if you didn't get a chance to write the notes on all of this, you can head over to my Instagram. Just send me a DM with the word clarity, and I'll send you the framework. I've got everything that I spoke about today written down. It's a screenshot. I'll send it to you as a photo. And for those watching or listening to the recording, I'll make sure I have that link for you so that you can head over and get the framework and the blueprint. But I hope that's empowered you and excited you about master planning your 12 life areas. when you're really intentional with this, you really can create so much magic. And you can probably see now when you're very clear on the have, be, do, it naturally, like your opportunities and openness to things that are going to help that have come into fruition just become so obvious. So enjoy the activity, take time with it, don't rush it. I hope you loved today. And yeah, if you took something away from today, please drop into my inbox. I'd love to hear from you and hear what it is that you took away from today. All right. See you. See you next time. Bye.